Dave Simon and his co-hosts are completing the remaining finishing touches for tonight's episode. If you are watching the replay, you can skip to the 4-minute and 54-second mark to get to Dave's intro. While you are waiting, watching live, take a look at the news and articles about pro wrestling and MMA from The Authority, the Ringside Report Network. Our website is at ringsidereport.net. That's ringsidereport.net.
Please wait. Hold on. Keep waiting. Almost done. 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 Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Please wait. Hold on. Keep waiting. Almost done. 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 Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment.
Welcome to today's broadcast from the Ringside Report Network. We are a viewer and listener-supported creative team. We would really appreciate it if you became a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. While you are waiting, watching live, take a look at the news and articles about pro wrestling and MMA, and while there, check out our exclusive merch, including great jiu-jitsu gear from the Ringside Report Network. Our website is at ringsidereport.net. It's ringsidereport.net.
Subscriber is speaking at the moment.
It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we're previewing UFC 317, Topuria versus Oliveira for the UFC lightweight title. Let's do it.
Let's go!
Yep, the UFC lightweight championship. That's what's on the line this weekend, AJ. AJ Delesio.
Crocodilo assassino, Dave.
My man, Dios mío. I feel like it's been so
Jiu-jitsu.
long since I've seen you. Jiu-jitsu
man.
forever.
I was at the John Jones retirement party, man. You should have known that.
Wow. What went down
John
there?
Jones.
Debauchery?
I'm telling you, man. We called it.
What do we call?
We called it.
What do we call?
John Jones would retire very soon.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've been calling that. Oh, I guess we haven't been on since that happened, right? That happened over the weekend?
Yeah, man. There's been a lot of stuff with John Jones, and there's a little bit of like controversy as usual with Jones, you know, because I'm not sure if you saw the body cam video, which is, I mean, it would be great to show it tonight, because I'm not sure if John Jones is like pulling out because of that, or because he's like, I had enough.
Yeah,
something's
we'll
weird.
talk
Dave.
about it. I'll play that later. We'll save that. We'll
John Jones.
talk about John Jones.
Back in the heat.
We'll talk about the problems with the law that seem to follow him wherever he goes.
He fought the law, and the law usually won.
But he did retire. That is the big news. The headline is John Jones retired. I mean, whatever.
It is the big news, Dave.
Even that I don't fully buy. Like,
I don't buy it either, man.
no.
I really don't buy it
that
either. I've been trying
I don't think Stipe was his last fight.
No.
No.
I think, you know what? There's a couple of things that made me laugh. I think Freddie brought it up a couple of weeks ago saying how clean Jones has been. There's been no like court cases or like anything like, you know, involving the law, and he's been clean as a church mouse, and like, you know, everything's great for, you know, Father John Jones, and all of a sudden, bada bing, bada boom, retirement, cops, video, the whole 9 yards. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I have a feeling this guy is stepping back, okay, so that he could give Aspinall that chance to get those fights, to get those names, and next year he'll do exactly what George St. Pierre did and step back in, win or lose. He won't be, you know, like, let's just say he loses. No one will even look at that loss as an actual loss. They'll be like, you know, Jones just came back, and he'll still be considered the GOAT of all time. Yeah. But that's what I think he's going to do. He's going to step back, do the, you know, George St. Pierre, take a look at who's leading the title and who has the title around his waist. And if it's Aspinall, he'll be able to measure him, study his tapes, look at everything that Aspinall does, and then just break it down. And Jones will be back, man. I don't think it's the last of Jones. It's like the Batman movies, you know, they always keep coming back.
Yeah, I think
different actors, but same Batman.
I think if a fight makes sense in the next couple of years, he'll take it for sure.
Oh, 100%. It could be next year or in 2 years, but it's not over. I don't see John Jones walking away just like this.
No, because, I mean, for several reasons. First, like, the biggest reason that no one ever talks about, that should be talked about front and center, is that he's still under contract with the UFC. So if he wants to do anything, they have to break that contract. If he wants to do anything fight-wise, even, I think, jiu-jitsu-wise, whatever, the UFC has to okay it at the very least. So, you know, he didn't feel like fighting Aspinall right now because he didn't want to be the champion defending against the next #1 contender again. He didn't want to go through the meat grinder of what that is all about. Because honestly, I think if he would have fought Aspinall and beat Aspinall, people would have been like, what about this guy? What about that guy? There'd always be another guy who'd win a couple fights, and people would be like, well, fight him now. They'd never let it go until he lost. And then they'd say, retire. But, you know, you're never going to satisfy those people until you lose. And a lot of people don't want to lose. You know, John Jones didn't feel like losing. And he stuck around long enough where you thought, hey, maybe he would at some point, but he didn't. That's why he was the greatest of all time. If he is retired, he's the greatest of all time. I don't fully buy that he's retired. I feel it's more like he vacated the championship. He just kind of was like, I'm giving up the belt. I'm stepping away. Let Aspinall hold the belt, and he can go and defend against the heavyweights. He can go be the champion defending against the next number one contender and the next number one contender and the next number one contender. Let him do that. And then if he does that 2 or 3 times, maybe John Jones will come back and fight him. But that's a big if. You know, he might not do that. It's tough to do at heavyweight. They call Stipe the greatest heavyweight of all time because he defended the title, 3 times? And that's more than anyone? You know what I mean? No one stays heavyweight champion very long in the UFC. Look at the history. Stipe has the most title defenses in the history of the UFC heavyweight division, and I think it's like 3 or 4. It's not much. I could check. But that belt does not hang around anybody. So if you think Aspinall is going to go on a big, big run, I mean, it's going to be tricky. Stipe won it, beaten Verdum in 16. Then he defended against the Reem, JDS, and Ngannou before he lost to DC. Three. And then he beat DC, and then he defended it against DC. So he technically has 4 defenses because he won it twice, but like in a row, like no one holds that for very long. Francis had a good run going. Francis won the heavyweight title, defended against Cyril Gane, but then, left. So you never really know. Like you look at the greatest heavyweights of all time, Cain Velasquez. People talk about him as one of the greatest heavyweights ever. Heavyweight champions in the UFC. He won it, JDS, 2012, defended against Bigfoot, defended against JDS, and then lost to Verdum. 2 title defenses for Cain. And this is what I'm saying, people call Stipe the greatest heavyweight champion of all time because he technically has 4 title defenses across 2 separate reigns, and that's more than anyone else. So if Tom Aspinall can somehow string 2 or 3 wins together now in a row, he's going to be in the conversation as one of the greatest heavyweights ever. And then John Jones might go, okay, here I come. You know what I mean? Put the Superman cape on and go. As long as he's not in jail, he should be fine.
Yeah, good point there, Dave.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he could do a Mike Tyson, and once he gets out, man, it's like,
But I think that's something people forget about the heavyweight division. Like, people don't really know that, maybe. People that don't pay as close attention as we do. Like, that belt does not stick around, man. It is hard to be the UFC heavyweight champion. Good luck to Tom Aspinall. And I think John Jones, as a student of the game, don't get it mistaken. He's not just physically gifted. He's also really into it and knows the sport inside and out. He knows that it's not easy to hold that heavyweight belt for very long because heavyweights hit hard. They knock you out. Anybody can get knocked out. And those heavyweights, they pack a punch. That's what I'm saying about the Aspinall-Cyril Gane fight that seems like it's gaining momentum and might be next. That's not an easy fight for Aspinall. Cyril Gane's not a joke. Cyril Gane could easily beat Tom Aspinall. Not saying that Cyril Gane is going to beat Aspinall and he's so much better and this and that. It's it's a heavyweight fight, so a lot of them are kind of a coin toss. And when Cyril is so good and deadly with heavyweight knockout power, he could land the strike before Aspinall does and win. That's the heavyweight game in the UFC. Always has been.
I agree with you. And it's not like somebody is so much better and whatnot. It's very, very close. I mean, when you talk about Cyril Gane and Aspinall, I mean, it depends who shows up to that fight and who's just is a notch better. I don't think it's going to be a blowout in any way, which I was kind of surprised with Cyril Gane and John Jones. Again, I can always dispute that, saying that if Cyril Gane didn't mess up, it probably could have been a much different fight. It wouldn't have ended in such a quick fashion. But, shit happens sometimes. and sometimes like it's just a bad night. It was a bad night for Cyril Gane, in my opinion. But like when you look at Aspinall and Cyril Gane and everybody leading down that pack, I mean, on the top 10 there, I mean, it's really close. So if Aspinall is able to defend 3-4, which I think he should be able to, and
he could.
In what I'm looking at,
you look at the division and you go, okay, there's some tough guys here, but Aspinall's pretty good. He's still young. He could go on a run. Like, we may be looking at the greatest heavyweight champion in the history of the UFC here with Tom Aspinall. Like, he's got the ability, and the division, isn't the strongest. He could go on a bit of a run here, but he's got to be active. Like, he spent a year now chasing a ghost fight.
Yep.
Like,
and it's not good for a fighter, especially when you're like looking for that fight and you want that name and you're hungry, but you're not. You're like, look, you have plenty of like sparring that goes on and mock fights and that kind of stuff, but it's not the real deal till you step into that octagon with like 30,000 fans or plus, millions around the world watching you. It's a different game, and I feel for Aspinall because he needs it now, and he's there now, and I think he's going to do really well. I've always looked at this guy and said, man, this guy's the future. Before John Jones got there, I'm like, this is the guy coming, and he's going to be the king of the throne. And I think he's gonna be able to defend, and I hate to go against Cyril Gane, since like, Ringside Report was the only show out of everyone across the world that mentioned that Cyril Gane would one day be a champ before he got into the UFC. And let's be honest, Dave, we got to pump our own horn, man.
It's true.
We're the only show that ever said that.
Well, we got lucky because we saw him fight before he was in the UFC. We saw him in person.
We saw him in person, and we saw something there. And Cyril Gane did get there. He was like interim champion. He's still at the top of the game.
Yeah.
We called it. But the thing is that this Tom Aspinall has something as well. No, I didn't see it. What's up with that?
He's got a movie
They're
on
all
Netflix.
Actors nowadays.
He's like a star. He's starring in an action movie on Netflix.
Really?
I think it's called KO.
Yeah, wow, I gotta watch it. Is it in French or English?
I think it's in French. I have it on my list of things to watch. Cyril's in the movie. I gotta see it.
Oui.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out. I gotta see his acting skills. I mean, I'm sure he'll do better than George. I mean, no offense to George St. Pierre, greatest fighter, like, I'm sorry, man. That was horrible, George. I'm sorry, bud. That movie was like, if I had to do like Rotten Tomatoes or like, what was those two guys' name? Not the guys from the Muppet Show at the top.
George, man. Come on,
dude. I'd have to give it a solid Dave Portnoy Pizza 2.2, man.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
Hey, I wasn't impressed with your acting, bud. So you know what? Chill. Okay, I wasn't impressed, Georgie.
Antoinette in the chat, she says, love this. Been a member for 53 months. Thank you, Antoinette.
That's
I hope
true,
I run
Johnny.
into Antoinette this week at the Blue Jays game. Yankees game. At the Blue Jays
Antoinette, man. Antoinette, man. I wish I could be there, man. Antoinette's going to kill me.
I'll be at the Yanks Jays game on Canada Day, July 1st, Tuesday, AJ. I'm very excited. And
man, I wish I could be there.
It's Max
I'm gonna get
Fried's
down there,
next
Antoinette.
start. I got tickets to Max Fried's next start. He's the ace.
Who are you going down with?
Pitcher in baseball. He's the first to 10 wins. Incredible.
Who are you going down with, bud?
Don't worry about it.
Come on, tell me, Dave.
I don't want to reveal all.
Is it a secret date?
Don't worry about it. No.
You got a lucky lady there somewhere?
I'll tell you later. It's not for everybody. Go on.
I don't want to get you in trouble, bud.
No, everybody. Family,
Okay, I'm just saying, I've been watching a lot of like Instagram, and they've got all these things, man, like Date Buster and that kind of stuff. I've been watching a lot of this shit, man.
I don't know what
date. You haven't seen that?
Oh no,
AJ, with the times,
man.
dude.
What are you talking about? That's crazy. I don't do that. You know me.
I know you're a real keeper, Dave. I must say.
I don't. Come on.
Undisputed. Listen,
Ridiculous.
Are you gonna meet up with Antoinette at least?
Well, I think she's gonna be at the game.
You're gonna be mad.
I think she's gonna be at the game. So hopefully I'll see her and I can say hi to her at the game.
Listen, Antoinette knows a lot of people down there. You want to hang with Antoinette? Ringside Report, man.
Well, we got plans. I gotta hit up the aquarium. I'm going to an aquarium, so.
What?
I heard they got a real nice aquarium in Toronto, so I'm gonna go see some sharks.
Better than the
I'm
one in
excited
Quebec
about that.
City?
I'm gonna see a baseball game. I'm gonna see Aaron Judge, and then I'm gonna see some sharks. That's the plan.
And then you're going to make your way over to Gretzky's.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna hit up Red Lobster.
True, they still have one, man.
I know, I love it. It's so good.
You know what? It is good, man. I miss the Red
Yeah.
Lobster
I know, me
over
too.
here. That was like
I love it so
that was
much.
my
If
date
we had
place,
Red
you know
Lobster
that?
here, bro, I'd be so fat. I'd be the fattest man alive.
Dude, man, that's
if we
when I
still
was
had
young,
Red
man.
Lobster
That was my
around here, it'd be
date.
crazy. I'd go there all the
There
time.
was.
I'd
There
be
was
fat.
one on DeCarry. Do you remember
Yeah, I know.
that?
I remember.
It was on DeCarry.
I remember.
Jesus, man.
I remember one time my parents took me there for my birthday. I was like maybe 6 or 7. I still remember it because it was awesome, and I loved it so much because I love Red Lobster so much. Oh, man. I remember the treasure chest. I got a toy. It was great. Oh, man.
I understand why they left Quebec, but I mean,
Me neither.
Arby's didn't make it here.
I wish they'd come back.
I think Quiznos didn't do too well either. I mean,
Yeah.
hard,
Taco
man.
Bell left Quebec, too.
Taco Bell, man,
Yeah.
like
They
Pita
came
Pit.
and they
What's
went.
that? Johnny
don't
North
know.
Pita Pit. I've never heard of that.
I've had Pita Pit before. I don't know why he's saying I'm a Pita Pit man. I've had it before, but it's not really like a... Johnny North is weird.
I mean,
you know?
we
He
still
says
have
weird
Subways
things.
here.
He
We
says
still got
weird
like
things.
McDonald's.
You know, he talks smack about the Yankees.
You're
even
just
though
mad
his
at
Red
Johnny
Sox are
because-
terrible.
I was watching some of the comments, and Johnny really got on your back there. He said even the Bronx mascot got beaten up.
I
If
don't
I'm not
know.
mistaken. Did he
The
write that?
Yankees
Yeah,
don't
he
have a
did.
mascot.
Well, apparently they do.
No, they don't.
The Bronx mascot. He got smashed.
George Costanza?
Georgie. That's what they needed. They need another Georgie back.
I think he's the mascot for the Yankees. AJ, UFC 317 coming up
Woo.
this Saturday,
Yeah,
brother.
baby.
We've got a very good card. We've got Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira du Bronx, a.k.a. Chucky Olives. By the way,
Chucky Olives.
I invented Chucky Olives, and I've been hearing other
You
people
did?
call him Chucky Olives. I heard
What?
somebody...
Come on.
It was like
Are
on
you
an
kidding me?
official UFC. I feel like it was like Laura Sanko or somebody calling him Chucky
What?
Olives. And
Well,
I was
she
like,
does follow us
whoa,
on
whoa,
Insta.
Whoa.
Nobody
I
would
mean-
be able to know Chucky Olives. We're the ones who came up with that. Or
I
you
mean,
did.
it
I'll
is a
give you credit
logical
for that.
step. Charles, Chucky,
Nah, dude.
Oliveira.
No, dude.
Nah, I mean, it is kind of a. I was surprised.
Nah.
I was surprised. Have we started?
Listen,
something?
man.
Is Chucky Olives like a
Yes, we
trend
did.
that I started by inventing a nickname? I want
Chucky,
credit.
you did, man. Take the credit. We deserve it, man. We don't
I
get
heard
enough
other
recognition
people-
for like an
Yeah.
MMA show. Did I say MMA?
MMA, Triple MA.
MMA show. Triple M. Hey.
I don't know what Johnny's talking about the Hardys. I'm seeing the Hardys throw out the first pitch to the Mets game today. Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy boys, threw out the first pitch, both of them at the same time.
Wow.
With 2 different catchers. Pretty good.
I know, Antoinette. I really wanted to come, Antoinette, but I promise you I'll be in Toronto latest the fall for sure. And I love high hop. That's another thing that we don't have in Quebec. Look at that. They have an IHOP in like Toronto.
I do like
I got to go
IHOP,
to like
too. It's not bad.
Burlington or like somewhere in the States to go to a IHOP.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we don't have in Quebec that they have in Toronto, obviously.
Oh, look at this,
Okay,
man.
UFC 317,
They love
my
Wade.
friend. Okay.
It's going to 317.
Oh, they
Way to
love
go,
Sway
they
going
love
to
Sway.
UFC 317.
That's
Hope you
awesome, man.
enjoy.
What's your tickets, man? Let us know.
In Las Vegas at the T-Mobile
Man.
Arena.
He's going to have a blast.
International
Oh, it's going to
Fight
be
Week.
his first event. Congratulations,
cool.
bud. Hey, listen,
cool.
I was at the one in Montreal. Like,
What was your first UFC?
how long was
What
it?
was your first UFC show you went to, AJ?
was the Ottawa one where we were like baking like a lobster at Red Lobster. You remember how hot that was?
Yeah.
That was insane. That was my first UFC event. Was it? Let me just think. Hold on a
That's
second.
your first UFC event you attended live, yeah?
Was it that one or was
In
it the
Ottawa?
George one? I'm trying to think. Well, I saw a lot of TKO events, which were
Yeah, no, I'm
considered.
talking about UFC. I remember
know,
my first UFC.
I think it was Ottawa. Ottawa was my first one, and it was a rough day, but we had a blast. We were all drunk, but there was just for people that are listening. When we went to Ottawa, Dave had the VIP tickets. I was up in the rafters with all the MMA guys, and it was insane. It was so hot because the air conditioning in that place went kaput. It was like at least 30 plus degrees in that
Yeah.
arena, which was packed to the gills, and people
The
were
arena
just
was
like,
unbearable. You couldn't.
"Oh,
You
it was
couldn't sit in
unbearable."
there. It was horrible. It was summer. It was hot. They had no AC in it because the AC died in the arena. It was some crappy arena next to a football stadium. It was garbage.
Well, it was
I
supposed
wound
to
up
be new,
watching
no?
most of the event outside in like a media tent where they had like TVs and stuff set up. And then I interviewed some guys because the guys kept coming back after their fights to do interviews. So I just sat out there and talked to the fighters.
I was just taking care of the people passing out, man. You know, it was crazy, dude. Where I was, I remember you were down at the bottom. I was trying to spy you. I was like, oh, there they are, all the VIPs with the cool air down, probably down at the bottom. We were dying, and to make up for it, people were drinking more because like they were just fueling themselves with fluid, and it got crazy, Dave. But it was fun, man. We got to see some like really good fights. Who was on that card again? It was Pat Cote was fighting Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah,
and that was the very
Rory
first,
McDonald fought Wonderboy, didn't he?
Oh, Rory, man.
Yeah, it was
was he good?
It was a real bummer of a night because the two Canadians lost, I remember. Rory lost to Wonderboy, and Pat lost to
fought
Cerrone.
well. And he got knocked out. If I'm not mistaken, it was the first time that Pat Cote ever got knocked out in the UFC. And I remember who was it? Oh, man. I forgot, man. It was like, I forgot who did that crazy roll. Remember there was the crazy roll?
No.
Like he went for like this weird barrel kick. Who was that? Was it Wonderboy?
I don't know, man. It might have been.
Man, it was something crazy that went on.
I mean, Wonderboy did.
It was something
like
weird,
that.
man. And
let's see who fought. Steve Bossé fought on this card. He won.
Oh, Bossé,
Olivier
man.
Aubin fought on this card. He won.
Olivier, that's right.
Valerie Letourneau fought on the card. She lost to Joanne Calderwood.
That was a tough one.
Misha Serkunov fought on this one. Elias Theodorou fought on this one.
Oh, our good friend Elias, man, Theodorou, who fought, man, who was a great, like, just, sorry, Dave, to interrupt, but people got to know that Elias was, man, he loved Ringside, and he was on our show. We had him at TSN. We had him, like, you know, a couple of times. You know, unfortunately, Elias passed away, like our Greek buddy, man. You know, we had, and I'll never forget, I kind of fucked him up when he came to Montreal, and I gave him the wrong address. That I keep saying that story, but it was amazing. I gave him the wrong address, and he went to the East End, and he called me up, and he's like, AJ, where the fuck did you send me? I can't find you. I'm like, where are you? He's like, I'm in someone's house, and they're flipping out. So he didn't realize, like, Saint Laurent is East and West, you know? I should have, like, mentioned that. But anyways, what a great guy, man. Unfortunately, he passed away. And he was the big reason why cannabis is allowed in the UFC right now.
Yeah, he was a great guy, Elias Theodorou, for sure. Yeah, so that was AJ's first UFC. Mine was UFC 81, I think it was. It was 81? In Vegas. It was in Vegas.
With George?
It was at the MGM. It was, the main event was Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira winning the heavyweight title, beating Tim Sylvia.
Oh, my God. You were at that one? Wow.
Co-main event was Brock Lesnar's UFC debut against Frank Mir.
Wow.
And Brock wound up tapping to the knee bar to Frank Mir, and then he got revenge.
That was
in the
crazy.
Next fight, but yeah, that was my first
That was crazy.
UFC
You
show.
were there for that.
Awesome.
Wow,
Bro,
what a fight to see. Brock Lesnar.
It was unbelievable because I remember being in the arena and watching the fights, and also just watching the people that were in the arena watching the fights, because like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, JBL were all like sitting together watching the fights, and Barry Bonds was there, and Ken Griffey Jr. was there, and I met Greg Maddux after the fights. He was at the fights.
What?
Walking out, I look back, I'm like, who is this guy? I kept like looking at him. I'm like, I recognize this man's face, but I couldn't place him, and then all of a sudden it clicked, and I was like, holy shit, that's Greg Maddux, who was like my favorite pitcher. I was a pitcher growing up, and he was like a hero.
Did you ask for an autograph?
No, I just talked to him.
Man, you need AJ for those things.
Yeah, it was.
Actually,
it was good enough. It was good enough for me. The fact that I met Greg Maddux, just a chance meeting to meet Greg Maddux, was like very big for me, because I was like, I had a poster of Greg Maddux for the Atlanta Braves up on my wall as a kid. Like, I was a Greg Maddux fan, even though he used to crush the Expos, who were my favorite team, obviously. He used to kill us, and the Braves were like our main rival. I remember my dad was like kind of annoyed that I had a Greg Maddux poster because of the Braves, but like I couldn't deny the greatness of Greg Maddux. And as a baseball player, I was just so impressed with what he did. I was such a fan of Greg Maddux, such a pitcher, so good, so good. So yeah,
was he a nice guy? Like,
yeah, no, super friendly. I just told him that I was a big fan. I lived in Montreal, so I saw him beat the Expos a lot, and I just thought he was great. And he was like, "Oh, thanks. Love playing in Montreal."
Just quickly on that note, I just want to just mention one thing. I saw They Loves Way. How much did you pay for those tickets? Because you paid an arm and a leg for Vegas. I thought it would be cheaper out there, you know?
How much? Oh, Vegas is expensive still. All the tickets
Is
are
it? I thought it
expensive
would
now
be
for the
cheaper
UFC,
than
man.
like
yeah,
Montreal.
especially for International Fight Week. This is a big card that I would like to get to instead of strolling down memory lane. I'd like to
listen. And before I forget, I just want to give you some good
AJ,
news.
What did I just say?
What?
I want to get to the card.
Wait, can I just say one thing, man? Just let me do one thing. I just want to give you some good news, man, since you're on the baseball talk. Rumor has it, and I'm just telling you, I got it from some inside sources. Okay, some really big wigs.
I saw that you sent me an Instagram thing about this.
Yes.
This is not inside sources. This is one guy saying that he thinks
no,
maybe.
because I know that guy, and I know that's what I'm trying to say. Is it?
I do too.
So just to let you know, baseball has an opportunity to come back in Montreal, and that would be the perfect place, man. Royal Mount would be the perfect place. There's subway, plenty of place for parking. You can literally walk to that ballpark if you wanted to. Out west,
The traffic
I'm saying
there is
that
so bad already. It would
but it would be it would be the perfect place.
It would,
like, it has so much
things
land.
would slow to. It would be impossible. The DeCarry, they'd have to completely change the DeCarry Expressway.
Dude, so change it, man. Bring back the Spos.
I mean,
bring back the Expos.
I mean, I'm in favor
Johnny,
of
you're
doing
right,
whatever
not 2
you have to
hours.
do to bring back a baseball team. I agree. I'm just saying, as a man who drives,
Let's sell
that
George St. Pierre and
stretch,
get the Expos back.
bro. At 3:00 in the afternoon, it's like bumper to bumper.
It is, but I'm sure there
Every
could
day.
be some logistical way that they can fix that, man. Mind you, it's Montreal. What am I talking about? Potholes have been like around for 30 years. Like,
Bro,
we
I was
haven't
on
seen
it,
the
it took
Stanley
me,
Cup.
like, it was like an hour to get home today. It should be like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Forget it. I was like,
Believe me,
you're right.
It's a fun idea, but that location is nuts.
But it would be awesome, man. Think about it.
Hey,
Right there, I could walk to that place, man.
sure, I'm in favor
I
of
would
it.
even go work there.
I would live outside as a homeless man and just become a baseball man. Who's that? Oh, he's the homeless baseball man who lives outside the stadium.
It's
and goes to
homeless
all the
Dave.
games. Because I wouldn't. I would
taking our
just
Sunday,
spend
man.
because tickets are so expensive. I would just buy season tickets. It would be all of my money, and I wouldn't be able to afford anything. I would just live outside the ballpark. I'd be like, "Well, I'm going to the game today."
We could do the show from outside, man.
That'd be great.
Homeless Johnny, homeless AJ, and homeless
Yeah.
Dave.
Why
Freddie
are you
always
homeless?
has to live the
Well,
big
I have
life.
season tickets to the new Expos. Okay.
Would you like to buy a pencil?
Yeah. Well, do you have a home? No, but I have season tickets. What do you have? Get out of here. All right. Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira. It's a good fight. It's a lightweight title. Islam Makhachev has vacated the championship. He's going up to 170. Ilia Topuria, the former champion at 145, has now moved up to 155. I think he was chasing Islam, but Islam has gone away. Now it's Charles Oliveira. I'm not sure what happens after this fight. I do think Ilia Topuria beats Charles Oliveira, though.
Chucky is old, bud.
Chucky is good, but Chucky, I think, is, like you say, a little bit past his prime.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like he's 35 years old, bud, and you're fighting against a Topuria who's probably considered the best fighter in the game right now in the world at 28 years old. I mean, Ilia Topuria.
16-0.
16-0, man. And I was looking at some of the stats, like this guy is one of 14 fighters to win an undisputed UFC title with an undefeated record. I mean, the guy he's in the making of becoming a legend. If he could carry this for a couple more years. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. There's no doubt about it. But, Chucky Olives, and the thing with Chucky Olives, which most people don't realize, is that in the beginning of his of his career, he was almost on his way out. I mean, and I said this story way back. I remember, I think when Fabio, like my coach, was in, I forgot where it was, but it was Pat Cote fighting. Chucky Olives had no one to corner him in the octagon, so Fabio went to corner him in the octagon. That's how low he was in his career in the UFC, and then he just got momentum, and he's an awesome guy in the octagon, outside the octagon. He helped so many people, and he became what he is, man. He's a legend, man. He's a fighting legend right now. Like, Chucky Olives has fought the greatest, been the champ. He's gone through wars and battles. He lost to Islam, by submission, which I never thought that would happen to Chucky Olives. But, it's going to be a hard fight, dude. The wear and tear is what I'm trying to say. When you get fights like with Islam and even Michael Chandler, man, like, that was a war, man. It's tough. And you're going up against Ilia Topuria. The guy is probably, he's the most dangerous guy in MMA right now. And it's going to be a hard fight. And I hate to go against Chucky, man.
Yeah, but, the odds makers don't like him either. Plus 305 right now, Oliveira. Topuria minus 425, the favorite. Topuria's just on a roll right now. He's 16-0. He's 28 years old. He is knocking everybody out. He knocked out Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway in 2024. He was the fighter of the year. He finished Volkanovski in under 2 rounds. He finished Holloway in under 3 rounds. And now he's going up against Charles Oliveira, who just doesn't seem like he belongs in this title
in
fight.
Less than a year.
He's a former champion, but, this isn't the fight we wanted. We wanted Islam Makhachev against Ilia Topuria because it's the irresistible force meeting the immovable object, and that's what we want to see. We want to see the guys on runs fight each other and see what's up. Unfortunately, UFC couldn't quite get that together, just like they couldn't quite get the John Jones-Tom Aspinall fight together, just like they can't seem to get a lot of these fights together lately. The one fight they could get is Topuria versus Oliveira, which nobody asked for, but we are getting. And it is a good fight, because any Topuria fight at this point in time should get you hyped if you're an MMA fan at all. Like, if you like the sport, you should be watching Ilia Topuria. If you don't like the sport, he might not bring you in. He might not suck you in to become a new fan. But after this one, and in, a fight or two, he might be that guy where everybody goes, ooh, have you seen this Ilia Topuria? And you go, yeah, I've been watching him fight for years. Where have you been? Like, that might start happening with Topuria because he's very, very good. He talks a good game. He knocks people out. Like, he's flashy, he's exciting, he talks trash. He's like a Spanish Conor McGregor. There's a lot going on with Topuria. And if he chases Islam up to 170, that would be something else. Being the champ at 145, going up to 55. If he could win this, he'd technically be the champ at 55. And if Islam beats Della Maddalena, which I think he could, not to say he would, but he could, I could see Topuria moving up and fighting Islam at 170 and rolling the dice there.
Mm-hmm.
And who's to say he couldn't beat him and, become a 3-division champion, which no one in the history of sport has ever done. Okay?
Which is a possibility right there, man.
And that would make Topuria, a megastar. So, I think this fight here for Ilia Topuria is a very big deal, and it's a very big deal for the sport. He wins, and it's like, okay, it opens up a lot of avenues. Because I think the Topuria-Makhachev fight is something that we need to see, and I think the UFC recognizes that. My only concern is, if Topuria does win, and Makhachev wins, are we really holding up all these divisions so that these two guys could settle the rivalry at 170? Because there's other guys at 170 that deserve a title shot. There's other guys at 155 that deserve a title shot. You know, are we really going to tell Arman Sarukian to sit at 155? Are we really going to tell Shavkat Rakhmonov to sit at 170 and wait? For how long?
Well, it depends on the TV deal. I think like whatever happens next, like with the UFC, like if they get involved in some like mega deal with like Netflix or with Prime, I think they're gonna want like a money maker fight, and I think that could be a possibility. If it like, and I agree with you, these fighters shouldn't be like put on the shelf and wait to see what happens. But with the UFC going into a new contract, whatever that is, and if it's anything like I said with Netflix, they need a big money fight, and that's what they're going to be looking for. Imagine, like, a 3 division champion, never like that's unheard of, and what better to take place on something like Netflix?
Whatever.
No
Netflix,
more pay-per-view.
Who knows where the UFC is going to land, and that's another interesting thing that we're going to keep following as news starts to break there. But I'm really interested in the Topuria story because at 16-0, being the fighter of the year and just the 2024 that he had, this being his first fight in 2025 is for the lightweight championship against a legit guy in Oliveira. A win here, and it's like, okay, there's a lot of options. And even if Islam loses, like, I don't know. I don't know if the Islam fight is next for Topuria because, like, if Islam wins, I kind of think Shavkat should get the title shot at 170. But if Islam loses, like, maybe then he comes back down to 155 and we see Topuria and Islam, but then it's, like, not as cool because Islam's coming off a loss. I don't know, man.
It's a tough one, man.
It's a tough one. Like, this is why the UFC should have just given us Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev this weekend. They should have told Islam, like, shut up, dude. Fight Topuria. How much power does Ali Abdelaziz really have here, man? What's going on?
He has a lot, man. He has
know,
a lot of power.
Obviously.
Like you can see that through like last years.
Not every champion is getting this type of treatment where you get to call your shots and move up and do whatever.
Hey, listen, the Dagestanians are
the
king,
manager in the sport who happens to have a lot of the top guys and a lot of power. And
well,
he's also Islam Makhachev. He's a big star. He's, one of the only stars the UFC has right now. They want to keep him happy, but it's not like Jack Della Maddalena's a megastar for the UFC right now. So putting Islam in there is not the worst thing for him. But, man, if Islam wins, I think I need to see Islam fight Shavkat. Because Shavkat, it's like waiting for too long here to be 170 champion. And him and Islam is a cool matchup.
Yeah.
Enough waiting. Like, doesn't it feel like the UFC's in a rebuild right now? Like, if the UFC were a sports team, 2024 and 2025, I think, are rebuild years. And 2026 and maybe 2027 is when you start to cash in. Like, you start to cash in on these big fights. You start to cash in on these big fighters that have kind of been waiting for the right fight in the right moment. Like, at some point this year, we're going to see, when are Dricus and freaking Khamzat fighting?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
like that's taking way too long. And, like, that should be a fight that should be happening now. We should already be seeing those posters.
Well,
but that's what I'm trying to tell you, Dave.
I think it's like, it's August. It's UFC 319.
Are you sure?
Yeah. 319, August 16th. Khamzat Dricus. Like, that is going to happen.
Take a look at this.
Like, eventually we're going to see some of these big fights where it's like, okay, this guy's building, this guy's champion, and now, boom. But we kind of had a moment here with Topuria and Islam, and the moment passed. The UFC couldn't get that fight together, and that's really disappointing. It's really disappointing. Because that would have been sick right now. That would have been a big fight. It's a missed opportunity for sure. Like, you can't deny it. Promotionally, it's a missed opportunity to not do the Islam Topuria fight this year. It's really too bad. They are getting Khamzat in there, but, like, guys have been waiting around. Like, Shavkat is like, how long is this going to take? You know? Enough waiting. There's guys
I'm
that are
telling you,
out
they're
there
waiting
that
for
should
that.
be champion or at least getting a title shot. Let's see it. So, thankfully, you know, I think after this fight for Topuria, I really don't. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's next for Topuria. I don't know if it's Islam. I don't know if it's like Armin Sarukian. Like, I have no idea.
Yep.
It's probably Justin Gaethje, to be honest. Because
I thought
Gaethje
he was
made
doing
all
some
sorts of
wrestling.
noise that he wasn't getting the title shot here. Which, like, fair enough.
Yeah, but somehow or another, I've been seeing him a lot in like the wrestling scene. So you never know, man. His transition might be like, you know, he's up there. He's up, you know, in age with Chucky. I mean,
He's coming off the win
Maybe
over
the UFC
Fizzy. Gaethje wants a
Yeah.
title shot. He's won 3 of his last 4. Yeah. I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with Gaethje getting the next title shot against Topuria because, honestly, it's a big fight. Like, it's a big money fight. And even though Sarukian probably deserves a title shot more, Gaethje's just, you know, he's more of a star.
yeah.
So do that.
But you saw him in the wrestling thing, right?
The what?
He was in some like wrestling show and whatnot.
Like amateur wrestling?
No, like in like pro wrestling. Johnny will know about it. It's like he did some kind of like he came in and did some kind of hype and all that kind of stuff. So I was
Justin
thinking like
Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje is like moving towards like pro wrestling. I'm like, okay,
I thought Michael
this might be
Chandler
the
was
end.
trying to be a pro wrestler.
I could see him doing that as well.
I can't. I can't see either of them doing it. Are you kidding me?
I mean, you said that about Logan Paul, and look how good Logan is.
I
Might
don't
be the
think I
next,
said
like
that
you
about
know.
Logan Paul. And also, he's not very good.
Yes, he is.
He's done like this. He does the same promo every time. He's not that good. He hurt himself, I think, in his last match because he's not skilled. He's athletic, but he's not a skilled pro wrestler. Michael Chandler would not be a good wrestler, I don't think. He's not very big. And
Yeah, he doesn't have the height.
no, and I don't think he's got the personality.
Yeah, but neither
and
was Rey
I think-
Mysterio, man.
I think,
Rey Mysterio wasn't that big.
I think a lot of MMA fighters don't realize how hard it is. It's not MMA. It's different. And if you're trying to pick it up at like 38 years old when your MMA career is over, it's like, okay. Yeah, Chandler says he's had talks with WWE, but I don't know what that really means. I
Hey,
think
Dave
he's-
and Johnny, for
not
if I
this
am being
again. I
honest,
don't want this.
I was
hate
the
this.
first
hear
one
this.
in the
Shut this
entire
up. I
world
don't
Why,
like this
Dave?
gimmick.
to say that
Quiet,
Logan
Dave.
Paul is
I love
something
it.
special. Mark
That's
my
right.
words.
That's right. I'm marking him. That's it. Say something else, man.
Alexandre Pantoja is taking on Kai Kara France in the co-main event. Pantoja, minus 250 the
Pantoja.
favorite. Kai Kara, plus 190 the dog. Kai Kara,
Sounds right.
32 years old, from New Zealand, coming off a TKO win over Steve Erceg. Kai Kara is good. Kai Kara is dangerous. Kai Kara.
Guy.
Yeah. You know, this is a solid
But
fight, but
Pantoja, man.
Pantoja's been on quite
Superman.
a run. Huh?
Yeah, he's solid, man. He's like the kid's made out of steel, literally. I mean, it's gonna be hard for Kaikara.
Yeah. But 3 years
You know, you
younger than
gotta-
Pantoja. Pantoja's
Yeah.
on a win streak, but like he's lost before in his career.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm not convinced of Pantoja right now. I'm
These
on the
guys
fence
already
with this
fought in the
fight.
past, no? Weren't they in the Ultimate Fighter 24?
Yeah, Pantoja beat him back then, but that was like 9 years ago.
That's right. Yeah, but what happens when people kind of do that rematch stint? It usually doesn't go too well, right?
Mm.
And Pantoja, man, has a crazy pace, you know, ridiculous amount of cardio. The guy, like I said, he's like made out of steel. The guy is like, he has everything to be able to beat like Hi, Kara. And they've already met, so there's like no jitters on that. That's what I'm trying to say. So look, it's gonna be
You're convinced.
nothing too.
You believe in Pantoja.
Yeah, I believe in the Pantoja.
Okay. I like how many Brazilians are on this card. Feels good to see Charles Oliveira, Alexandre Pantoja, Renato Moicano, Gregory Rodriguez. You know, it's like a lot of Brazilians on this card.
But
I like it. Gotta love Brazilian fighters, Brazilian champions. Is Pantoja the only Brazilian champion right now?
Right now, I think so. There used to be so many, man, in every division.
145. There's no
in the women's
Who's
division.
the champion at 145? Is it Volkanovski? Who? Wait. Did they ever crown a champion? What happened there?
Yeah,
is it still vacant? Isn't Volkanovski supposed to fight for the belt or something? Right? Or did he fight for it already? I can't remember.
Yeah, well,
no, he won. Yeah. So we saw it.
So the current...
He beat Diego Lopes, remember?
Oh, yeah, the Lopes fight. That's right. You okay there, Dave? Stay away from the light.
I got a cough. The weather is messing with me.
Don't get sick. You got a vacation to go to.
No, I'm getting over it.
Yeah, Johnny, I like what you said, man. Don't mess with Joe Rogan.
It's ridiculous. I'm not even going to address that because it has nothing
to do with man? That was so funny. The Liver King, did you hear his whole, like...
The guy's clearly mentally disturbed. I don't want to dance on his
He grave. Is, man.
Like, come on.
Nah, I know.
He's got
sad,
some problems.
Man. Joe Rogan would...
Ignore him.
Beat the crap out of him.
I've always ignored the Liver King, and I'm going to continue to ignore the Liver King. Any guy who tells me to eat, like, just cut open an animal and then eat what's the... It's like, no, dude, that's not good. I'm not doing that. That's crazy.
Maybe that's
also, he was on steroids. Also, he's a little banana. So, God bless.
Maybe it's eating all that raw liver shit. You know, you never know.
All right. My voice is running out here, AJ. Let's try to finish the show and get to these fights before I just totally freak out.
No, thanks to you, baby.
So Volk is technically the champion. So we do have a champion at 145. Why am I talking about that? Because I was wondering who the Brazilian champions were, right? 155. Well, we're going to crown one. We'll see. Maybe we'll have a Brazilian champion at 155 if Chucky Olives wins. 170, of course, our champion is Jack Della from Australia. We have a South African middleweight champion. We have who's the light heavyweight champion these days? Oh, he's Russian, Dagestan, Magomed, right? He was Brazilian with Pereira, but now Magomed's the champ. And the heavyweight champion is British. Sad about. British. Seems weird. So only one Brazilian champion. There are as many Brazilian champions in the UFC as there are British champions in the UFC.
Crazy.
There are as many Brazilian champions in the UFC as there are Australian champions or South African champions.
Well, technically, there's more Georgian champions right now than all of them.
Well, Ilia is not technically the champion right now. Marab is from Georgia. Valentina's from Kyrgyzstan. Wei Li is from China. And Kayla Harrison is from America. Is Kayla Harrison the only American champion right now? In the UFC? I think so.
Yeah, looking all the way down, yep.
Right?
Crazy, eh?
Yeah, Kayla Harrison, the only American champion in the UFC.
What happened to... Look at that, the Brazilian flag, too.
Brazil!
Jiu-Jitsu, Jesus,
let's go.
And watermelon juice.
That's where it all comes from.
That's all you need in life.
That's the home of MMA. But they only have one champion right now. Maybe Chucky Olives will give him two. I think Pantoja holds on to the belt. I think he wins. You can't have, like, two Australian, New Zealand champions and 0 Brazilian champions in the UFC. That doesn't seem right. That's not right at all. Pantoja's got to win. Topuria will win. Spanish champion. He's like, I think he was born in Georgia, but he grew up in Spain.
Yeah, he has roots in Georgia.
Was he even born in Georgia?
Yeah, I think so. He was born in Georgia. I
No,
mean, he's
he's born
dual
in
Georgian.
Germany.
What? Say what?
Born in
Guten Tag.
Germany, Georgian and Spanish descent. I think at the age of he was born in Germany to Georgian parents
You're okay.
who were
Okay.
refugees from Abkhazia. All right. Ooh, genocide. Oh my God. So his parents were Georgian refugees that lived in Germany, where he was born. Then at 7, he moved back to Georgia. And then at 15, he moved to Spain. So he's been living in Spain
Yeah.
for the past 13 years.
Well, when you hear him speaking and whatnot, I mean, he definitely has like a Spanish accent. He seems very like,
Ooh,
there you
Georgia.
go, Georgia. Georgia, always on my mind.
So, I mean, Topuria is Georgian, but he's also
Very Spanish.
Spanish. I
Yeah,
wonder what the
man.
history is there with the Georgian wars and everything. Like, I'm not a history buff. I don't know much about the history of the Georgia people and the Abkhazia, whatever that was. But I wonder, like, because for us, right, we go, oh, he's Georgian, just like Marab. But maybe, like, it's, like, not the same. Like, maybe the place where Marab is from and the people, maybe Marab was some of the guys, well, not Marab specifically, but, his area doing the bad things maybe to the people from Topuria. You know what I mean? Like, maybe there's beef there that we're unaware of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. But, like,
You
because,
got a
like,
point
I don't
there,
know the
dude.
politics of Georgia. Anyways, he seems to claim Spain more than anything. He doesn't seem to claim Georgia that hard. He seems to be real, like, Spanish. Like, when he's talking about bringing a fight to somewhere, he's like, bring a fight to Spain. Like, come to, Like, he really wants the UFC to go to Spain. He's not pushing for Georgia. Marab is more into
and he
that.
supports all the Spanish teams.
When Topuria goes home, he's going home to Spain.
Oh, 100%. And that's what I was trying to say is like you'll see him at like professional like soccer games, like you'll like Real Madrid and like that's his team, I believe. It's all about like Spain for Topuria,
Yeah.
which makes sense. I mean, he's lived most
Spaniard.
of his life there, But Marab is Georgian, man, and the Georgians they celebrated that UFC win like as if he was like the president of that country.
Yeah.
So good for him, man. But all to say is like Brazilians, man, used to
AJ,
dominate
like,
the sport, But it's
Marab, like, just the reception that Marab gets. Like, my impression is like, oh, maybe there's something there, because like the reception Marab gets when you see the videos of him in Georgia, it's like he's celebrated like a god.
Oh,
I haven't
100%.
seen any of that with Topuria, and also like his parents were refugees who had to leave the country twice. Like, they moved back, and then they're like, yeah, there's a war, let's leave again. Where Marab is just like, I'm steady in Georgia. Like, maybe.
Yeah, well, he has like deeper like ties. Obviously, he's
Like,
from
if I
there,
had to be a refugee of Canada because Canada government were trying to kill me and all my friends, I'd be like, I don't think I claim Canada. Like, whatever country I would go to next, I'd be like, Azerbaijan has taken me in as a refugee. I'm Azerbaijan forever. You know what I mean? Not to say that they would. I'm just saying. UFC was in Azerbaijan last weekend. We should mention that. Another Team Dave parlay came through. I think I'm
That's right.
2 in a row.
You're hitting them hard, man.
2 weeks in a row, right?
I mean, we've all been doing pretty good this year. Like from the start of the year, we've been hitting like a lot of parlays, including my own, man. Like, so we've been paying out some pretty good money. Not us, like personally, but bet99.com.
Okay,
you gotta go
so
to
let's do it.
bet99.com.
Stop
Let's
talking,
do it, man.
and give me a freaking parlay
what she said.
over here. I'm going to give you a parlay first, okay?
Okay, go. Don't be shy.
Because I am excited. Ooh, I like this parlay. Ooh, I think I'm keeping it to a 2-fight parlay because it's really.
That's it?
Yeah. I'm trying to win. I'm not trying to go crazy, but, double your money, more than double your money with the Team Dave parlay. It's going to be the champ, Ilia Topuria, to become the new UFC lightweight champion, beating Chucky Olives. I think the knockout is going to come, but I'm just betting on the win straight up, minus 425. We're going to combine that with Henach Moicano. Minus 115 over Beneil Dariush. I think that is a great number to get for Moicano. I think that's money.
I mean, Dariush is like
he dunzo.
It's hard, man. He talks
Dude.
more about like retirement and ever since he's had like his kids and everything. I mean,
he's done.
Been rough.
He's super done.
I agree with you.
If he wins, I'll be shocked, and I've been shocked before, and fair enough. I'll be happy for him, but he seems quite done. Moicano does not. I got Moicano big time. The fact that this is coming in at even money is a shocker to me. So I'm giving you 20, gets you 46.19 over at bet99.com. It's a Team Dave parlay. Topuria, Moicano. Seems simple enough. It really does. Just Dariush, 36 years old, has lost 2 in a row after winning several in a row. But then in 2023,
like 7 of them or something.
He lost 2 in a row and looked like the bottom dropped out. Got smashed by Charles Oliveira in the first round, then got smashed by Arman Tsarukyan in the first round. Now, granted, those guys are top of the heap, but we haven't seen him since. That was in December 2023. He's coming back now, June 2025, at 36. I think he's coming back to get a paycheck. I don't know. I don't know. But Moicano, last time we saw him was against Islam Makhachev, coming in on short notice. He got tapped. He got smashed by Islam. Who doesn't? But before that, he was on quite a run that included TKO wins over Jalen Turner and Benoit Saint Denis.
Mm-hmm.
I like Moicano in this fight, even though Moicano is also old. He's 36 as well. But I just think he's younger in fight years than Dariush. Dariush was like right on the cusp of getting a title shot. It never came through. And then everything fell apart. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of sizzled away. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And like I keep saying, like he talks more about his retirement than wanting to fight. That's always like a pretty bad sign in my opinion, but
are you not surprised that it's coming in at a pick'em fight? It's even money?
Yeah, it's kind of like surprising.
Dude.
But like,
jump all over that. What are we doing?
Yeah.
That's a Team Dave parlay. And just for context, last week I gave you a solid parlay of Khalil Roundtree, Rafael Fiziev, and was there another one on that, or was that it? I think that was it. I think I gave you 2. I was tempted to give you Muhammad Usman in the opener. I kind of laid off of it, but he was like an underdog, and I was like, I think he'll win, and then he did. I was kind of disappointed I didn't throw that in there. But I gave you Fizzy and Roundtree. Fred gave you Fizzy and Hill. Hill wound up losing a decision pretty soundly to Khalil Roundtree. I just don't believe in Jamal Hill. I don't think his head is in the game. Something's up. And Fizzy was the underdog, but he was in his home country. There was no way he was losing to Ignacio Bahamondes last weekend. And he won a unanimous decision, Rafael Fiziev. So Team Dave came through last weekend with the 2-fight parlay. The week before that, I gave you the underdog Kamaru Usman, and I gave you Raoni Barcelos over Cody Garbrandt, and I gave you Michael Chiesa over Court McGee. That was a 3-fight parlay that also came through.
Super chat.
Okay? So we've been on a bit of a run, which means I'll probably lose this weekend because nothing lasts forever. But
believe in yourself, Dave. Believe.
But I do like my picks. I'm pretty confident in the 2-fight parlay of Moicano and Topuria. I'm pretty confident Topuria wins. I think he will knock out Oliveira, even though Oliveira is very tough, and like it looks like he does get knocked out, and then you go to follow him to the ground, and then he chokes you out. I think Topuria is going to be aware of that. He won't fall into any traps, and I think Moicano beats Dariush like easily, soundly. So I'm very confident in Moicano. I'm quite confident in Topuria. I like this 2-fight parlay. That's what I'm going with for Team Dave. Patrick C. Hamilton jumping in with the 777 Super Chat. He says, putting 5 on Oliveira, but more on Topuria. Wait, what? You're betting on both guys?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, it's a possibility. I mean,
Yeah, I see
you
that.
know, Chucky is no chump. I mean, if he comes out like fighting like Chucky of his prime, which is going to be kind of hard.
I think
he
the
could
bet
do it,
on
man.
Oliveira is not Oliveira straight up. It's Oliveira by submission. If he wins, he's getting a sub. Like, he doesn't win by decision. He doesn't win by knockout. He wins by submission.
Well, and you know what, Dave? You have some reasoning behind that, because if you look at like stats, like Chucky Olive has the most stoppage victories in the UFC. He has 20, and he has the most submission wins in the UFC at 16. So the possibilities of winning by submission is up there. Chucky leads the pack, man. You know, in quite a few things.
Yeah,
so it's a possibility. There's nothing wrong with putting a few dollars on Chucky.
I think Chucky, if you're gonna bet Chucky, like just my hunch on it would be to bet submission, because I think that's how he would win. And bet 99 right now, Chucky Olives by submission plus 625.
Yeah, and you know Topuria, like, I mean,
it's not bad.
If you look at it,
by knockout, minus 170. Like, that's the most likely outcome. But Oliveira by submission, could happen for sure. Because this is MMA, and anything happens in MMA. You never know.
Yeah, and you look at Topuria. He's got 8 wins by submission. He's got 6 wins by KO and TKO. I mean, I don't see him subbing like Chucky. I mean, Islam did. It was an arm triangle, but that's Islam. That's a different game, You have like 2 great grapplers going at it. Somebody makes a mistake and it's all over. But Chucky against Topuria, I don't see the submission win by Topuria, but I can see it by Chucky.
Yeah.
It's a possibility, bud. You're right.
Yeah.
And if he wins, he can become the first two-time
network, as always. Thank you to Patrick. Thank you to Antoinette for gifting the membership. Thank you, Antoinette. Thank you to Angelo. I saw Angelo
I think I might know
in the chat. Thanks to all the members over at join.ringsidereport.net and membership.ringsidereport.net. Thank you to Johnny North, wishing my son a happy belated birthday.
That's right. It's happy Zevi birthday, man.
8 years old. My firstborn.
Crazy, man.
My firstborn baby boy, 8 years old.
Happy birthday, Zevi, man.
I wonder what birthday it'll be when he's bigger than me. He's close.
He's getting tall, that kid, man.
Yeah.
Jesus. He's going to be taller than you in like no time, dude.
I think by 11 or 12, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Maybe
he's
13,
got long legs,
but I don't know. The way he's going and the way he's eating, dude.
Yep. And he's a good swimmer, man.
Nice. Yeah.
I have the opportunity to see like Zevi swim, man.
Nice.
Yep.
He's an aquatic young man. He's the best. He's the best. It was his birthday. We had a great time. He's 8.
Happy birthday, Zevi.
Happened. I don't know how that happened.
Well, I can take a guess. But,
yeah, just time passing is nuts,
Oh, I thought it was alcohol and like just a wild night, but that's okay.
What? You know me. You think there's alcohol involved with what I'm doing? I don't do no alcohols, bro. I'm not doing alcohols. I do other things maybe, but it's not alcohols. All right.
Unlike AJ.
Give me your parlay, bro. What are we doing?
Listen, man, I'm pretty much on the same page as you. I'm going to go a little bit further because there's one guy that really like stands out, and I'll tell you in a few seconds. But I'm going to start with like Topuria. I think Topuria will win this. Yeah. It's going to be a tough night for Chucky, and it really pains me to go against Chucky because Chucky is like, he really made me enjoy the UFC, a lot more than I ever thought I would. The guy's been outstanding, like really came from nothing to something, but everybody has their time. And I think Chucky had his time, and, it's Topuria's time right now, like I said, probably the most dangerous fighter in MMA right now. Then I'm going to go with Pantoja. I can't see Kaikara like taking this over Pantoja. I think Pantoja has everything you need, from experience, just cardio, his power, everything to be able to beat Kaikara. he's 25-11, and you're looking at Pantoja 29-5. I mean, these guys have been fighting for a long time, but Pantoja really, has been very impressive lately. Then where I'm going with is this young kid, man. He's 23 years old. He fought 3 weeks ago. Super impressive, man. Excellent boxing, man. Crazy knockout power. This kid, if I'm not mistaken, I think Brandon Royval knocked out the last hype last year or something. But this Joshua Van is coming in at 23 years old he's Burmese, has everything to be the next big thing. So I'm going with Joshua Van. I think the odds are going with Brandon Royval. But this kid, man, is coming off a win 3 weeks ago. He's in ready shape and dangerous. So, put some money on Joshua Van.
Van actually the favorite right now, minus 130.
What?
Yeah.
He went past? Wow. So it
Joshua
must be
Van, 23 years old, 14-2 record, coming off a win June 7th.
Yeah,
UFC
it wasn't that long ago, bud.
He's taking this fight on short notice. Manal Cape dropping out. And Joshua Van stepping in. Huge fight for this guy. Huge fight, because this is a
huge fight.
Big step up in competition against Brandon Royval, a guy who's been in this division for a while. He's fought for the belt. And, Pantoja's the only guy to beat him in his last 6 fights. He's 5 wins in 6 fights. The only loss was by decision in December 2023 to Pantoja. Since then, he beat Brandon Moreno and Tatsuro Taira. Tatsuro Taira, who was
the last
16-0 before running into Brandon Royval, by the way.
Yeah, it was just a bad night for him, but he'll be back, man.
Was it a bad night for him, or is Brandon Royval that dude?
Well, Brandon Royval, a lot of experience, a very tricky guy and whatnot.
I like Royval in this fight. I think Royval's going to win, plus 100. I like him as the underdog. The fact that he was preparing for this fight and Van's coming in on short notice, I don't know. I know you're picking him in your parlay, and, I'm wishing you luck. I'm not putting any of these guys in my parlay, but...
Oh, there's a lot of pressure on the kid, but you know
as
what?
a single bet, I think, I would go with Royval in this fight. I'm picking him to win. Plus 100, I think, is cool, so... Yeah, I don't know. I think Royval's going to win. I'm a little surprised Van is the favorite. Anyways, is it a 3-fight parlay for you, AJ? Do you have more?
No, I'm going to finish it with, it's actually a 4-fight. Yeah, I'm going to go with Moicano on this over Dariush. I think that's the most logical pick, considering it's a pick'em. Let's see what that pays.
There's your team AJ parlay. Ilia Topuria, Alexandre Pantoja, Joshua Van, and Renato Moicano. 20 will get you 114.41 over at Bet99.com.
Really?
That's pretty
wow.
good. That's nice.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Nice payout.
114, nice.
I mean, yeah. I mean, 3
at
favorites and a pick 'em.
Bet99.com.
Yeah.
You pick them, baby.
AJ. I like it. So those are our parlays for this Saturday. We're not doing a watch-along for this because I'm going on vacation. So I'm taking a bit of a vacation, summer vacation. I'm taking a week off. We'll be back. AJ and I will be back next Thursday to recap everything. But nothing this weekend because I'm going on vacation. I'm going to see Nas on Saturday, and then I'm on vacation. So it's just, I'm off.
Woo!
I'm taking a little break. Doesn't happen very often.
Who the heck is Nas?
So, yeah, Nas, he's a great rapper. He's a legend of hip-hop, but I wouldn't expect you to know about that, AJ. That's okay.
I thought he was a wrestler.
Nope, he's a rapper. I'm going to see him on Saturday at Place des Arts with a symphony orchestra. It's going to be sick.
What?
Yeah.
Symphony orchestra?
I know.
Doesn't sound too rapperish to me.
Well, he's old now. He's like your age. He might be a bit younger than you.
Hey, Dave, here's my parlay. On the prelims, I pick every underdog to win.
You actually picked
right.
a lot of favorites. Nas is 51 years old.
Damn it, Nas.
And he's going to be...
What song? I'm sure I know one of his songs. If you hum it to me, I'll probably know it. You can rap it if you want.
He
Vanilla
is
Ice. Go ahead.
Gonna do an album. He's gonna do Illmatic, which is his first album. It's a classic album. It was released in 1994. And he's gonna be doing that album with a symphony orchestra and maybe some other hits. I don't know.
What's his hit? Give me one so I probably would know who he is, man.
I don't think you would.
Something
I'll play a song or two for you after the show. I can't play it for you now, but
Well, I'm sure you can. Isn't there like a certain
No.
amount of time?
Nah.
Well, hum me a bar, man.
All right.
Come on
so
there.
I'll be back tomorrow with Johnny North, and we will preview WWE's Night of Champions, which is taking place this Saturday in Saudi Arabia. CM
up,
Punk
Angelo?
is going to challenge John Cena for the WWE Championship.
Oh, I hope CM Punk wins, man.
Me too. Me too.
Can't take
I don't
that
think he
John
will,
Cena.
but I hope he does.
Can't take it.
Yeah, I love CM Punk, so that'd be great. I like Cena too, though, but it'd be cool if Cena won if Punk won the belt in Saudi Arabia. I'd like that. Okay. AJ and I will be back next Thursday. Johnny and I will be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, a little bit earlier because SmackDown is on, I think, in the afternoon because it's in Saudi Arabia. So we'll be on at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night for Wrestling Uncensored right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website